I'm proud to be a Mason patriot. And if it wasn't for the plethora of classes and the multidisciplinary classes that were available to me, I certainly would not have pursued the opportunities that I did right after Mason. I knew that with a degree, with an undergraduate degree in global affairs from CHSS, I was going to set myself up for success. The first job that I earned out of Mason to my current position, every step of the way, I have benefited from being connected to Mason, having gone to Mason and received my education from Mason, and ultimately keeping that connection with my professors and the program writ large.
My education at George Mason played a huge role in where I am today because when I first came to the US, I was still exploring the identities that I held, and I actually took a women gender studies class my freshman year, and it essentially transformed everything that I wanted to do.
I think most of anything, their brilliance and intellectual curiosity was contagious, and it allowed me to want to just learn. I loved learning. I loved going to class. I loved being in community with the professors themselves. They were accessible. They were willing to have conversations about the text that they gave us in class. They were willing to question it and participate in my own inquiries around the things. And I think that intellectual curiosity that I carried was nurtured and allowed me to prepare myself to go on to receive degrees at Yale University, receive degrees at Columbia University of Journalism, School of Journalism in New York.
I am here because of Mason. That is me. All the opportunities that I've had at Mason and post-Mason have been really due to the support of my professors. The scholarship that I was awarded to study Russian language in Moscow was through, the beautiful help of Dr. Levine. The job that I hold now was just because Dr. Rosano had sent me an email saying, hey, there's a job that's available, why don't you apply for it?
The Mason education, in a couple different ways, really helped prepare me for my role today. The first was through the ability to kind of craft my own degree. I was a pre-law major. And with that, I was able to take classes that one, interested me, but two, really set me up for those areas which I felt as though I could succeed in at the time. Instead of taking a test with paper and pencil, obviously, we all have classes that we had to take tests in. I wouldn't say that those didn't exist, but I was able to find things that focused on building my skill set of presentations, negotiations, debate in some cases, writing papers, all things that you're going to apply in the real world, as opposed to just sitting down and taking a test.
I got into the Masters in Individualized Studies, the MAIS program, and I was allowed to take coursework from a wide range of what is now chess, from psychology, from communications, from conflict resolution, and from management sciences. And as part of my independent consulting, I was doing both a lot of training and I was doing compensation work. And what I found time and again are the theories that were being presented to me, or the approaches being presented to me in my coursework, I could actually take and apply directly in my training and the management classes I was giving my clients.
I do think that being a non-traditional student, going in at 35 is what affected me going forward, and it helped me think about what I did in the past. Surprisingly, I went in to become a special education teacher after I finished my schooling, and I ended up teaching at the middle school, so I had opportunities to work with children that have different backgrounds, and I had a framework that I had built up in school that I could use to interact with the teachers and the students and their families. And when you're a teacher of special education, working with families is very, very important. And I had some common ground that I wouldn't have had without my religious studies degree and without my conflict resolution degree. So that was really special to me.
Well, it really had a very profound effect on what I'm doing now. One of the main changes from being in this program was my perspective on things. And so instead of this kind of 180-degree view of the world, I really started to peel back the layers and get more of a 360 view on what's really driving this right now, what's behind it, who is it really benefiting? Why are we doing it right now? What are the implications? Does it create further disparities or inequities? That sort of thing. So my experience at George Mason really made me, first of all, alert to those conditions and sensitive to them, but also feeling a real urgency to get involved and try to do something.
George Mason prepared me for having a broader understanding of the world, and also connecting with the different parts of the world and different cultures. We had cultural events on campus during my time that were very impactful. I was also from the era in the class where Final Four was happening. So that was a major change on campus, in addition to even having President Barack Obama announcing his presidency on campus. So these were all things that were very inspiring and encouraging, and very supportive to be expressing all of that and understanding that there is some level of growth and being on the campus that has a good vision, a good direction, and helping us to become better leaders and also influential leaders.
I think the simple thing that Mason prepared me for was actually to just being collegial and actually, having a diverse set of classmates from all over the world, from all over the country, had really prepared me to really be a good teammate. And I think that Mason gave me that opportunity to be amongst many different international students. I was a member of the men's track team. In the men's track team, there were multiple team members that were from all over the world. From Jamaica, I think was probably the most prominent. Our head coach, Dalton Ebanks, was native of Jamaica. And I think Mason really helped me just be prepared for the global world that I'm a part of today.
I think George Mason gave me everything really to prepare me for my career. I really am where I am now at Arizona State University because of my time at Mason. And I think of all the incredible guidance and mentorship I had from so many faculty. My dissertation chair was David Weisberg, and he has been an incredible mentor and continues to be a mentor and collaborator. I also had the chance to work with so many great faculty, and a lot of my work is on policing, and I just felt so fortunate that Mason has some of the top policing faculty in the country.
That strong foundation in science and experimental design has enabled me over the years to help hundreds of the world's largest companies and agencies build more secure software, including most likely some of the software you use every day to do your finances, your healthcare, your e-commerce, your elections, even your social life. It also helped me create products that detect cybersecurity vulnerabilities and attacks with unprecedented levels of precision and accuracy.
We had to take a class in Hispanic sociolinguistics, and I took that class with Professor Jennifer Lehman, who's still here at George Mason, and we're colleagues now. Her class was really it opened my eyes for the situation of Hispanics here in the United States, and how speaking Spanish here in the United States was a very different experience. And I taught in a high school for 3 years, and I was for the first time face-to-face with kids that were heritage speakers of Spanish. And that class really more than prepared me to deal with that with them and learning from them. And actually I started a Spanish for Fluent Speakers course in the high school that I was teaching because of that. I wouldn't have done that. I would have taught Spanish, but I saw how critically important it was to address that segment of the population in a particular way. And so I really owe it to that course.
I'm always trying to find ways to share, some of the greatness that I was, able to take advantage of, and hopefully, help folks the next generation, right? I mean, if people reach out and they say, hey, I want to talk about the business. Hey, I want to talk about how you got started. Hey, what classes did you take? Or what's the path for internships? Or what do you think the best move would be? I mean, everyone's move and everyone's path, everyone's trek is different, but my goal is to try to, like I said, pay it forward and give to the next generation, because I had a lot of awesome opportunities that have landed me where I've been.
I'm a first generation college student. My parents were immigrants, and so I was really just navigating everything on my own. And I was grateful for the professors that I had, for all the resources that we had available on campus that helped guide me along the way. I work on digital and communications for former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama. For me, just being in this role and getting to learn from two of the most passionate and incredible people that I could imagine, I've learned a lot over the years.
George Mason definitely prepared me for both law school and my legal career. Mason is such a diverse community on its campus, and its student population is so diverse that that really, I don't think I could have ever known how much that would impact me throughout my career. It really prepared me to be effective in working with diverse communities, of building trust, of understanding, and really ultimately being successful in what I do. So I have Mason definitely to thank for that.
That English department was fantastic. It was really inspiring and educated me in a variety of things, not only the study of English literature in a traditional way. And really that was the spark for me to pursue graduate study in those topics and then eventually become a professor myself. There's so many different choices. It gave me a kind of freedom. It opened my horizons and gave me the freedom to choose many different career pathways.
Mason really embodies this idea of inclusivity and really creating like a place of belonging where students can find their niche. And for me, I really was able to take advantage of that, so much so that I think I stayed at Mason and took advantage of everything that they offered.
I do know that with George Mason, I was able to continue on to law school, rise to a significant level in my profession. And I'm actually a law professor now here in Southern California as well, and able to impart that passion for education that I received at George Mason to other students that may be uncertain of themselves. And it's really just been a fantastic ride. When I look at where I started and look at how I didn't believe I had opportunities, and then once I got to George Mason, everything was possible.